You are listening to Living, Breathing Stories. Join Deacon Leila Quinlan as she listens to the stories of the people who make up our church community and discover the many different ways God is at work in their lives.
Well, friends, I'd like to invite you to join us, and glad you have joined us for Living, Breathing Stories. This is a podcast that has been going on for a while, but not everyone has discovered it yet. So we're entering a new season, and I am so excited to have Pam Marrott with me today for this, who I have known for a very long time. Before we get into things, I do want to say that the name Living, Breathing Stories came out from this idea that Megan, one of our former priests, had, that the stories, we have the stories in the Bible, they're holy stories, but we have the holy stories that we carry with us within our bodies. We walk around with them, and very rarely do we actually get to hear each other's stories. So I have known you for a long time.
Yes. Yeah.
So tell us, Pam, how old your children were when you got here to Christ Church.
You're bringing me back. They were babies, essentially, in my eyes, 4 and 7.
Yeah. And now they are
27 and 30.
Yeah.
Just crazy. Crazy. Yes.
And so much has happened over those years.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's unbelievable.
So let's start with this question that I'm very interested in, because I'm not sure I've ever asked you this, but what kind of faith background do you have? Did your parents bring you to church every Sunday? If so, was it a particular denomination? All of that.
Yes. Great question. I laugh because I'm hearing my mother's voice in my head, which I do often. But she said we were confused Catholics, meaning I grew up probably equal Episcopalian and Catholic.
Uh-huh.
I believe we were all baptized Catholic. I'll have to look at my baptism certificate.
Yeah. If you can find that, I'll be very impressed.
I think we were all baptized Catholic, and then somewhere along the line, and I do remember, I think we were in our teens when they decided to switch to the Episcopalian Church. They never told us why. I don't remember, and as a teen, I don't think I asked.
Yeah.
And it was funny because we went to this Episcopalian church, gorgeous Episcopalian church, that our neighbor was the rector of.
Okay.
So that seemed that maybe that was the genesis. I don't remember. So we went to that church and had confirmations as teenagers there. And I remember going through a little class, and then, I don't know, as a 20-something-year-old, and I had started my career, I started going back to the Catholic Church, and I joined this incredible, it was actually a singles group. Kids, you may not believe that I was single before I met your dad, but I was, and it was this great big, and I was a Eucharistic minister, and I was very involved with this church in Atlanta. This was all in Atlanta. And so I went back to the Catholic Church. Then subsequently, I met my husband, who is Catholic. We got married in the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
And had children shortly after, had them baptized Catholic. And along the way, stuff was happening that we both, I don't know if that's okay to say,
it didn't resonate with you anymore.
It did not resonate with us.
Yeah.
And so we changed back to the Episcopal Church.
Yeah.
And my husband was really hesitant to do that. He was, as they say, dyed in the wool. He would say that himself.
Yeah.
Catholic. And, I think what really helped him when we went in Atlanta, and it was, in fact, Father Keith's old parish, my dad's best friend, started that parish, Father Noel, who actually was an ex-Catholic priest. Okay. So there's lots. You're like, I'm sorry I asked this question. It's going to take the rest of the podcast. But we went to that Episcopalian church, and my husband loved him and the message, and it helps too in the Nicene Creed.
Yeah.
When we say every Sunday that we're part of the Catholic.
The universal church.
Exactly.
Yes.
So he said, well, this is
going to be okay.
This is going to be okay.
Yeah.
And then I can tell you if I've said enough, I will. But how we wound up here.
Yeah.
At Christ Episcopal Church.
So one question about you and your husband got married in the Catholic Church. Did you meet each other in that singles group, or did you meet each other somewhere else?
We met on an airplane.
Okay. And has your whole career been as an airline attendant?
Relatively speaking, yes.
Okay.
I was 23 right after college. I mean, I worked odd jobs in college. Uh-huh. But yes.
So, and so you met him on one of your flights?
I did. Yeah. I was not working Delta. Well, semantics, but I was what they call deadheading. Uh-huh. So you get from point A to point B, and I'm in my uniform, so it confuses people.
Yes, they think you're on duty.
Exactly. And it confused him because they actually sat me right beside him, and I was like, oh, my. And it was so cute because, well, it was a giant snowstorm. It was a crazy story. And we had been, shuttled around as flight crews, and it was crazy. And we only slept a couple of hours. That's why we weren't working. Yeah. And, my hair was a mess, and makeup was minimal, kind of like today. But, and when I saw him, I was like, oh, so I ran in the restroom and kind of tidied myself up. But it was funny because he was at the aisle seat and I was at the window. Mm-hmm. And so he said, no. He thought I was working, and he changed seats with me, and it confused him. But that's
was there someone in between you two?
No, it was just the two of us.
Okay.
So then we got to know each other. It was a 4.5-hour flight, and we had a lot of things in common. Uh-huh. And so, no, he was New York and I was Atlanta. So it's a miracle that we met. Divine providence, intervention, and the rest is history.
And how many years later now?
It would be 31.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
So tell us, if you would, about how you ended up at Christ Church specifically.
I will. And that's fun. And I'm glad you asked that story because one of my favorite people, and you would say the same, is really the reason I'm here. And that's Joe Hoskins. Mm-hmm. And this is a true story. I walked in this beautiful church. I did it based solely on it. It was
how
beautiful.
It looked. Yeah.
It was a block from the beach. Mm-hmm. I wanted to be in an Episcopal church, and we were staying in some crazy corporate apartment. We moved in 10 days. Our house sold very quickly in Atlanta. We did not anticipate the fast moving parts. Yeah. And my husband had to be here like the next week for his job. And I didn't want this. I thought it was going to be this long thing where I was going to stay in Atlanta. And it turned out I just said, I'm just going to go with my husband, which it would have been easier just to stay there. That's where I'm from. My mother was there. My family was there. My job was there. But I said, I'm going to go with my husband. And we sort of jumped in, and we were staying at this corporate apartment off Bay Meadows Road. Oh, Lord, which, it was funny every night. And nothing against Bay Meadows Road, but it was just far. We knew we wanted to be at the beaches community, but it was just far. And I would make him every night, like drive to the beach for dinner, like some kind of dinner place.
My first apartment in Jacksonville was on Bay Meadows Road, Bay Meadows Apartments. And so I love the ocean. And I'm like, oh, why am I here? Why? So as soon as I could, I got out to the beach. Yeah.
And I packed the kids every night we go down to the beach. And I walked in this church, and Joe Hoskins is sitting behind the desk, the welcome committee. Yeah. And I was telling her, she was asking, like you, a lot of questions. Yeah. And I said, oh, we're in, we had to move really fast. We don't have a home yet. And we're in a corporate apartment. She said, oh, no. You are coming to my house. And I said, a 4 and a 7-year-old, absolutely not.
Yeah.
She said, you're coming to my house. I mean, we had talked for maybe 20 minutes.
I did not know this story.
That is why I'm at this church.
So did she?
And she meant it. And I would never have taken her up on her offer. I mean, that was so lovely. But I went home to the corporate apartment and I said to my husband, she meant it. I mean, we were like fighting. She was
about
like,
it.
Absolutely. You're coming over. And I was like, absolutely not. And
so she was offering to house you until you found a house.
Literally and figuratively.
Wow.
Not just, I can set you up somewhere here at the beach closer, because I told her we're going to wind up in the Beaches community.
Yes.
I don't know. I think I had enrolled my kids in Beaches Episcopal without even knowing. I thought we were going to be down that way, but we ended up here. But and that was months away because you had to do it months ahead of time.
Yeah.
And that I said, with that type of person, this is where, and I haven't looked back since. And that's not just because I'm on the podcast of Christ. That is a true story. So shout out to Joe.
Yeah. I had no idea.
And I've loved her. And every time I see her, I mean, I just love her because that's who she is. And she meant it.
Yeah.
So here we are. And it's been great.
So let's talk a little bit, if you don't mind, about your faith trajectory. You have been faithful in worship for many, many years. How is that different? Can you kind of parse out the difference for me in your attending church and your actual faith journey? Because some people can attend church for years and not really have a personal thing going on.
Right.
Not really be growing, or maybe they don't perceive their growth or anything. But how does that tie in with your personal faith journey?
Well, I've been one of those people. And, in my 20s, even as a kid, I would sit in the pew and, sort of just cut up and inappropriate laughing with my sibling, just the whole bit. I just was so checked out. And, calling myself a Christian because I went to church. We also did not have what we have here, youth groups. And I think we would have loved that as kids. There wasn't a whole lot of, maybe that was just our churches that we were in, or there wasn't a lot of youth. I think that's just so important. And that's what this church has done unbelievably. My kids have participated as youth group. But however, I was one of those people until I got here. And both of my two best flying friends, shout out to them, both had encouraged me, really faithful women, very unbelievable, great people in Atlanta. Both said, you have to join a Bible study. You have to join a small group. I'm too busy. I'm 2 kids. I'm flying. I work. There's no way I can do it.
Yeah.
And that was unfortunately excused for years. And then one day, I think I met Patty Airy. And Patty and I were actually in another Bible study together. I don't remember who's, maybe Betsy.
Probably Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Women in the Word.
Right. And we were watching the videos.
Yeah.
I just love the community. I didn't love all the homework and all of that. That was kind of not my thing, but I get it.
Yeah.
And it's important.
Yeah.
But then Patty went on, praise be to God, to start her own Bible study, which was fabulous. And so I've been in that for years.
Yeah.
And then she just passed off the reins. And so now we're back on Wednesday, which is also fabulous.
Wednesday morning.
Clergy-led.
Yeah.
Loving that. But it's so important. It was so important to my faith journey.
Yeah.
If I didn't join those groups.
Yeah.
And to this day, my closest friends are in my groups.
Yeah.
Whether it's Bible study where there's centering prayer.
Yeah.
Whether it's any of the other groups.
Yeah.
Community of hope.
Yeah.
Kohai. So
Friends, this is not a commercial, but there are a lot of things to participate in.
Yes, especially about this one, I could make a commercial because you have single-handedly, and this is not a setup, changed my faith journey. So let me just give you a shout out, and you know that from Unbelievable Spirituality Center, which I encourage everyone to come and do a class. Well, it's true.
Well, let's talk about something else that I know I offered you one time and you said yes. And I just love this. I think about it often when I'm praying.
Okay.
I said, we have this picture, this kneeling Jesus picture. So in the old parish hall, which is now redesigned as the preschool, there was a library and it had several portraits, and it also had a huge picture of Jesus kind of kneeling. And they were about to tear up that building to retrofit it for the preschool. And so I'm like, what are we going to do with this Jesus picture? It does not feel right to just get rid of it.
Right.
So somehow you and I were talking, and I said,
I was in the front office.
Yeah. And I think I said, would you be interested in that kneeling Jesus picture? And you said yes.
I wanted to put kneeling, beautiful Jesus in my front hall, and my husband ixnayed.
He nixed it.
Very big.
It's huge.
It's huge and red. And, he was like, I love you. No.
So tell us where it ended up.
It ended up in my prayer closet. I made a prayer closet out of my very small closet, but half of it is in there, and there's Jesus. When you walk in, Jesus is there kneeling, and his hand is out. And a lot of times I walk over and I sit down. I have stools. Someone can join me if they want. It's very narrow. It's kind of not meant for two, but I will sit there and talk to Jesus if he'll have me. Yeah. I'm so blessed, but I love it, and I smile every time because I think of you. And I don't know what I would do without Jesus. I think it shocks people too. Because my daughter, when I first, they would come home and they're like, people were like, whoa, because he's almost life size.
He's as tall as, almost as tall as this shelf.
Yeah. No, he could be life size.
Yeah.
And I love it so much. It makes me happy.
Yeah. It sounds like, correct me if I'm wrong, but it kind of sounds like it's, sometimes it's hard for us because we can't see Jesus.
Right.
Maybe we see him in the people and the things around us, but there is that portrait of Jesus. Maybe it doesn't make you feel closer to Jesus.
Unequivocally.
Yeah.
I mean, that he calms me when I see him.
Yeah.
A lot of times if I'm sitting there, I'll pretend like I'm holding his hand because I need Jesus. I mean, he's the, and so I've told this, that my husband will summon me to my prayer closet when he sees me spinning out.
Yeah.
Or, which is often, or my kids have seen me spin out a lot, but he'll say, why don't you go
be with Jesus?
Go in your prayer closet. And, also centering prayer changed my life.
Yeah.
Thanks be to God and Leila. But that has been a big to go in my prayer closet, and I sit with Jesus.
Yeah.
Sometimes I hold his hand and I do my centering prayer to get quiet because I'm loud, and the world is loud, but I'm louder. The voices in my head is, I'm not going to blame it on the news. I'm not going to blame it on anybody else but me. But that changed my life because I used to just sit in there and petition Jesus. Jesus, this is what I need.
Yeah.
And now.
And when you come out of that time with Jesus, you're more, grounded, centered, calm.
Absolutely.
Reassured.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even for a little while.
Yeah.
And if I didn't have that, I shudder to think.
Yeah.
What, it's life-changing.
I'm glad you, use the word spinning, and that you aren't even the world does affect us a great deal.
Sure.
But I'm hearing you say that even within your own mind and body, there's a spinning sometimes.
Oh.
And I think a lot of people feel that, but I don't think they necessarily talk about it or share it. And certainly are looking for ways that they might find groundedness and find the calm in the storm that
Right.
Jesus offers.
Right.
So speaking of storms, I know because I've known you for so long that you have experienced some really significant loss.
Yes.
And I wondered if you might be willing to share with us about that.
Aww. Yes, like most people to, my age, and boy, did I have great support. And not only at the church, all my friends, at home in Atlanta, and just incredible. It started with my mother that had cancer, and then my brother-in-law got diagnosed, my twin sister's husband at the same time. And then the loss of my mom, and then the biggest, I think I won't say the biggest because all have been painful, but my baby sister was very unexpected. And she was a mom of 3 and married to, he's a very prominent farmer, but he worked a lot. And she, that was really tough. The cancer.
Mm-hmm.
She had cancer, came back twice, and we thought she was totally cured. We got it's all clear, and then she wasn't. And that was really tough.
Yeah.
That was probably the toughest, just with my mom and then in the interim, I was taking care of my dad.
Yes.
And then my dad, unfortunately passed away like 3 weeks after my little sister. My dad was 93.
Yeah. Very gregarious man.
Just so fun.
I knew him.
You knew
so
him.
fun.
Yes, so fun.
Yes.
And it's different because as much as I grieved him and we spent a lot of time together and he was fun, you never knew what he was going to say, but he was just so full of joy, but he was ready to go. His little body gave out.
Yeah.
And I say little, he was a big,
tall
ex-baseball player, but he was 93. And then when you're looking at my sister who was in the prime of her life and raising these kids, it was just like, oh, and it really, and my twin sister got diagnosed with cancer. It just was a crazy time.
Yes.
And I had to really sit in that for a while before I was, okay.
Yeah.
And
So I have seen you through all of these things. I've seen you be exhausted.
Right.
I've seen you be so committed, so present to your family. And I saw you going back, and I think we even would call sometimes when I was going back and forth to my family.
You did the same thing.
Yeah.
So
that back and forth thing about traveling to be with people that are ill, that you love dearly.
Right.
So what was it that sustained you during that time?
Jesus.
Yeah.
And you guys supporting me. I have the best husband in the world. He is just my rock, and my kids. And the first time the kids didn't know because my sister wanted to keep it. She had kids and I get that.
Yeah.
I get whenever somebody has some kind of illness, I understand completely
when they want to
keep it
confidential.
It's hard because you want to support them, but my kids didn't know. It was very tough, but my husband was just this absolute rock who never, ever wavered. And he would just always say, go. Even though I was like, but I have this. Nope. Go. And he has done that every single time. And even with my dad, it was cute. He was so good to my dad. And when my dad and I'd have tough days with my dad and I would come home.
Yeah.
And sometimes he'd pour me some wine and he would just like
slide it over,
push it down the counter.
Yeah.
And I would just be like, I couldn't even talk.
Yeah.
And so having the support, and my kids are incredible.
Yeah.
My kids are just like A+ in the support. And my brother and sister, just my whole community. I'm so blessed beyond measure. And it's very important to have your community.
Yeah.
And I have my church.
Yeah.
You guys knew you were always there. You guys were emailing me, Patty's group. I mean, just incredible. Writing me letters.
Yeah.
The texting. I mean, just unbelievable. So I'm blessed beyond measure in that respect.
And I'm guessing, well, I see you talking with people and I see you listening to people, that all that you have been through has been put to good use in the ways that you interact with other people who are struggling.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny because I can't imagine not going through anything and having, I mean, yes, to answer your question, yes. Yeah. And I try to just listen. And every situation's different.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't have the support.
Yeah.
I can't imagine doing it alone. And a lot of people do. They do it alone.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
But if they can get connected with some kind of faith community, it sure does make a difference.
Just night and day. I mean, night and day. Yeah.
So let's talk a minute about these are, long trajectories of things. Let's talk a little about your kids and how, because I was around when they were little.
Right.
And teenagers and young adults.
Girl.
And it's so exciting because now I know that your daughter works for Delta.
Right.
And your son is a registered nurse.
It's crazy.
And but they went through many different seasons. Do you want to share any of that?
No, I would have had to sign a
non-disclosure.
Exactly. No, being a parent, is so interesting to be a parent. I keep saying I want to write a book.
Uh-huh.
I really would have loved to write columns and looked back.
Yeah.
But writing a book of you're going to make it as a parent.
Yes.
And every kind of situation I feel like we've had.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, we've kind of made it to the other side of that. I mean, it's just my kids are just.
They're flourishing now.
Yes.
Yeah.
By the grace of God.
Yeah.
And, we're so blessed and it's fun.
Yeah.
But it was hard and I worked and I was exhausted. So this is a public apology to my children that I was tired a lot. Flying internationally and just, I was.
Yeah.
I was
you were
tired.
Juggling all the things.
I was juggling.
You had all the plates spinning.
I did. And I try not to drop the important ones.
Yeah.
But I'm sure I did every now and then.
Yeah.
And but it was, and I was a lot younger. So I encourage, that.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I have to say, I just want to, hopefully this won't embarrass Matt, but to be able to see him as a child, and then not that long ago, he started leading his own Bible study, to have him come and for us to talk about, facilitating a Bible study and what annotated version of the Bible would be helpful as a leader, and to have him so on fire for God and see the way that he wants to care for other people. I mean, I'm just amazed, and it's just such a blessing to see that. And because he's young and cool, he's got all these young people that are coming and are loving what he has to offer, and he's so compassionate and and he puts the time in to get ready for his class.
Yes. Yeah, he's devoted. He felt strongly about having a place.
Yeah.
For the young struggles he's going through.
Yeah.
They're a tight knit group, and they want to go through this together.
Yeah.
And so that's been great. I mean, that's an understatement. So very blessed. And my daughter does other outreach stuff too. And it's a blessing, but
I think it's maybe hopefully really reassuring for people to know that, you know, they might, if both of your kids happen to be around and you're here at church on a Sunday, it looks like everything is perfect, right? But they, to hear that you have gone through hard times with them.
Oh my gosh.
Is, I think, helpful to people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, one last question. What is bringing you joy these days?
Wow, that's good. That's a good one.
And it can be something like chocolate bars.
It can be crazy. For me, joy is being around people. That's probably my favorite thing to do. And also movement is life for me. Movement.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy when I'm paddle boarding with my husband. Yeah. That's
really
huge.
Joy. Yeah.
And kayaking, we bike together. I'm married to Captain America.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's doesn't quit moving, and sailing, and all sorts of fun stuff. But that's probably joy versus happy. But that's yes.
Yeah.
And being around and helping people, that gives me joy.
Yeah.
So.
I'm thinking about the fact that you went on the Camino a couple of years ago, and what an adventure that was. And then I'm also thinking about years ago when you were volunteering at the front desk and you walking was really hard for you.
Right.
So is that why you say movement is life for me?
I mean, I injured my foot so bad. That's why I'm always in ugly shoes. If you see me in ugly shoes. However, I finally have gotten to the point where with my ugly shoes, I can move.
Yeah. And
the right tennis shoes and
right support.
Yeah. Because movement is sort of like prayer for me.
Yeah.
And, conversely, hello. Conversely, you sit in your prayer closet and you're quiet.
Yeah.
And then I like to move.
Yeah.
And I can pray. I can talk. I listen to the podcast. It's the only podcast, really, that I listen to, and I love it. But movement's really important to me. Yeah. And it really helped me with grief.
Yeah.
Really helped me get through the hard times. I would just keep moving. I know maybe I'm running away from stuff, but it helped me.
Yeah. A lot of people go, for instance, on the Camino, or they start walking regularly so that they can process grief.
Right.
Because my belief is that our whole body is affected. And sometimes getting out there and moving. And some people, you are the kind of person that is able to pray quietly in a prayer closet and also pray while you're walking. Some people can't do the still thing.
Right.
So,
and
moving prayer.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the still thing is really hard.
Yeah.
Really hard. Yeah. But movement, I just encourage, and I like to be outside.
Yeah.
That's my big thing. I gym, I should be in the gym. Be careful of the word should, but
yeah. Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Right.
Yeah.
But I like being outside.
Good. Well, I am so grateful that you spent this time with us today. And I'm just so grateful for your friendship.
Thank you.
And for the fact that you're willing to share some of the things that really made a difference in your faith journey.
Yes.
And I hope you'll come back and visit us again some other time.
I'd love to. Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you for being here. Well, that's it for our podcast today, friends. We hope you'll join us again for our next podcast and for living, breathing stories, because they're important.